Welcome to The Explainer. So let's just jump right in because today we're tackling a massive point of tension for almost every new tech business out there. Picture this. You're a startup. You're trying to move incredibly fast. You're watching literally every single dollar in the bank account, but you also desperately need reliable professional infrastructure, right? You need your web apps to stay online, your data has to be secure, and you absolutely cannot afford a catastrophic outage. But on the flip side, you definitely can't afford a massive enterprise licensing bill that just seems to grow like mold. So how do you actually bridge that gap? Well, today we're exploring what we call the Proxmox paradox and looking at exactly how startups are navigating this tightrope between cheap software and serious professional operations.
And honestly, it really all starts with this incredibly painful question. How much money should a young company burn just to feel legitimate? I mean, it's a psychological hurdle just as much as a technical one. Startups often feel this immense, kind of unspoken pressure to overspend on massive brand name hypervisor licenses. And why is that? Because when you're just starting out, maybe you're building your first app or you're just trying to figure out how to keep a single virtual machine alive, you kind of feel like you need to buy the expensive, familiar enterprise stack just to prove to the world that you're a serious business.
Section 1. The infrastructure price tag. Let's look at the history behind this mindset.
Man, this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Maturity had a logo. For a very long time, the answer to looking legitimate was super easy. You just bought VMware. You swallowed the massive license bill, and you basically told yourself that you were paying for maturity. VMware carried the weight of habit. It had all the vendor certifications, and frankly, it was the safe option for your resume. But that answer has gotten so much harder to defend for a young company today. The whole idea of paying premium enterprise prices when you're literally just trying to get your infrastructure off the ground, it can feel completely absurd. And that is exactly where open source alternatives, specifically Proxmox, walk into the room.
Section 2. The enterprise reputation gap. Let's separate the emotional reputation from the actual technical facts. Listen, the crucial point here is that the question isn't can Proxmox run a business? It already does. If you think this is just some home lab software with an internet fan club, look at the scale of operations we're actually dealing with here. We are talking about global IT departments at billion-dollar companies switching their virtual servers over to Proxmox. We're looking at certified data centers hosting thousands of VMs with it. The foundational technologies underneath it all, like KVM and QMU, are even used in high-stakes aviation-style environments. I mean, these are systems with extreme availability expectations. So this completely destroys the whole home lab-only myth. Linux virtualization has absolutely crossed the line into serious business-grade territory.
It's a crazy mental split, right? On one side, emotionally, people still view Proxmox as this scrappy, cheap option you use in your basement just because you can't afford the big logos. But look at the reality. Technically, it's built on incredibly serious components: KVM, Linux, ZFS, Ceph clustering. Actually, one of the most brutal little snapshots of enterprise IT today is that teams will run a strict technical business evaluation, find absolutely no reason not to use Proxmox, and then get blocked entirely by parent company politics. The technology is 100% ready for production, but the emotional biases and office politics, they're lagging years behind.
Section 3. Escaping the VMware shadow. Let's talk about the massive industry shifts happening right now. You really can't talk about this without bringing up the VMware comparison, because ESXi was the default answer for decades. But recent Broadcom-era licensing anxiety has completely changed the mood in the industry. Teams are scrutinizing this comparison closely. VMware offers familiarity, deep vendor support, and a huge comfort zone, especially for Windows-heavy shops. Consultants can literally bill around it in their sleep. Proxmox, on the other hand, asks you to be comfortable with Linux concepts. But in return, it offers liberating flexibility, incredibly powerful open-source tooling, and zero licensing fees for your Linux and FreeBSD workloads. Ultimately, it's a trade-off between buying comfort and building competence. But hey, let's be very clear here. Proxmox is not magic dust. It's a tool, not a religion. A truly mature, grown-up approach to technology means recognizing when it isn't the right fit. If you need tons of Windows VMs or specialized GPU sharing, then maybe Microsoft's Hyper-V makes way more sense for you. Or if you're building massive infrastructure as a service where virtual machines are treated like cattle rather than pets, OpenStack is a much better beast for that. As the source material so wisely puts it, know the job, know the staff, know the failure modes, and then choose. All right, Section 4, the cost of free. This is the core paradox of our explainer. Let's talk about the concept of the blast radius, because this is a massive reality check. Proxmox is incredibly accessible, right? The installer is smooth, the buttons are clean, the graphs are friendly, and boom, your VM boots up fast. But that accessibility totally cuts both ways. It creates what we call the blast radius. Because the UI is just so good, it allows beginners to build something that looks incredibly professional before they actually understand how any of the underlying systems work. The web UI gives you this false sense of security, basically making the infrastructure feel way safer than it actually is.
I really want to linger on this for a second because this is the ultimate tough love axiom of IT. RAID is not a backup. Honestly, this should be printed in bold letters on the side of every cheap server case a startup buys. If you're learning infrastructure, you absolutely have to understand that keeping the lights on when a hard drive fails is not the same thing as protecting your company's actual data. Think about it. What RAID actually does is simply keep a machine running through certain physical disk failures. That's it. It's all about uptime. What it completely fails to do is protect you from accidental file deletion, devastating ransomware attacks, silent data corruption, a literal fire in the server room, or, as the source wonderfully puts it, the deeply human tradition of confidently typing the wrong command. If you hit delete on a RAID array, it just deletes your files very, very reliably.
Section 5. Building boring systems. How do we actually bridge the gap to professional operations?
Here's the thing about free software. The hidden costs are everywhere. Someone still has to maintain the whole shebang. You have to design secure network boundaries and VLANs. You have to make sure your management interface isn't just hanging out on a public IP address like a neon sign saying, "Please ruin my week." You have to actually test your backup restores, not just sit back and admire the automatic success emails you get every morning. You have to monitor your storage health, certificate expiry, your battery backups. The software itself is free, for sure, but the operational responsibility and the required discipline, those are absolutely not. So, if you're a startup founder or the solo IT person, this is your non-negotiable progression path. You start in the lab, learn by doing. Step 1, break a virtual machine on purpose and figure out how to restore it. Step 2, pull a hard drive, simulate a failed disk, and reinstall a node entirely from scratch. Step 3, document exactly how you did it so you aren't guessing at 3 a.m. when everything's on fire. Only then, at step 4, do you ever put actual customer revenue on the line. You have to build that muscle memory and slow down in the lab first. Don't mistake the installer finishing successfully for the finish line. That's just when the grown-up work actually starts.
Which brings us to our final profound takeaway. Build boring systems, because boring is what customers are actually paying for. A startup always wants to move fast, but true operational maturity isn't about buying the most expensive hypervisor logo just to prove you're a real company. It's about having the discipline to be perfectly, reliably boring. Proxmox is absolutely ready to run your business today. But the real question you have to ask yourself is, are you ready to run Proxmox? Do you have the discipline to do the boring work, or are you just chasing the cheapest price tag?